Welcome to episode 7 of the official NerdTalk Podcast, GeekSpeak. I'm your host, Sean, and joined as always is my co-host, Josh, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong enthusiast, Rudy Rudel.
I do be that Seth Rogen enthusiast for Donkey Kong.
This is the podcast where we watch movies, make movies, play games, and more. What else can you ask for? Hi, Josh.
Hello there.
You like Donkey Kong?
I like the character. I think the casting of Seth Rogen is interesting. Also, for returning listeners, this has been the first one in a while, and we're actually in person now.
High five, Josh. That was probably peaking.
Who cares?
Anyway, watch your ears, y'all. You know it already happened. It's been a minute.
It's been much longer than we anticipated.
The last time we recorded this podcast was July 15th, or 14th, I think. And so, there will actually not be a DCOM this week, so technically on this podcast, like you'll usually hear. We recorded the audio for the 13th Year, and an entire podcast about the Black Widow release, as well as the news that we were talking about then. A little dated now. So we're keeping the super weird story from that week, as well as the DCOM from that week, so you can listen to those separately, and then the podcast will have a little more time to talk about the main topic this way.
Yes, so get prepared. Get your ears prepared. Get your eyes prepared. You shouldn't be able to see us. If you are, why are you in our room? Anyways, Sean, what are we talking about? I started Squid Game.
That's just, oh yeah, that's relevant now.
It's really good. You need to watch it.
I'll have some water instead.
I watched the Halloween movie, Trick or Treat. Good movie. A lot of fun.
Speaking of Halloween, it's October now.
Ooh.
And so for Halloween, I think all the Halloween towns? Or at least a Halloween town.
We got 3 more. We got Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge, Return to Halloween Town, and it's Halloween Town High, then Return to Halloween Town. I remember. I know my DCOMs.
Do we though?
No.
You Lucky Dog is still peak.
Nothing has hit the bar yet for that. Brink, I want to say...
Can of Worms.
Oh, yeah, Can of Worms.
I forgot it happened. It's been a minute, y'all. But specifically about DCOMs now, and speaking of Halloween Town, the DCOM that week will be Halloween Town 2 probably then. We're going to do those now as Halloween specials each year instead of part of the normal regular cycle.
There's 3 Halloween movies, all called Halloween, and I hate it. And now we're getting a new Scream movie. I think it's the 5th one in the series, but they're calling it Scream. I hate it.
If you all don't know what DCOM even stands for, or what we're talking about right now, every week we go through a different DCOM, which is a Disney Channel original movie, and we'll see how in a short period of time the biggest media company on Earth caters towards solely children with a large sample size. We'll see quality changes and see how they do things over time. We've done 6 now, or now it's 7, and you can listen to the one for the 13th year right after this.
Wait, we've done 7 of them?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is that wild to you?
Ah!
And 8 is next week, Josh.
Look, I completely forgot we watched the 13th Year. That movie just came and went.
If you want to hear our thoughts on that, if it's a yay or nay or anything between, go listen to that podcast audio right after this.
I do not remember what I said for that movie.
That's fine. I remember I called it gay. I mean that... I mean that in a very literal sense.
Just watch the episode, you'll understand.
And so, separately from DCOMs now, we're going to do the super weird story from that 2 months ago recording, and put that in the end of this, because I'm not going to do our story. We saw a very interesting reaction that he had last time. So, enjoy that. Alright, Josh. No news this week, because I don't want to catch up on 2 months of news.
I mean, we don't have to catch up on 2 months of news.
Fine. Speaking of news, Nintendo Direct happened.
Yes, that happened.
Which, I'll focus on some of it. Most, like Sora, Adder to Smash, cool. But specifically, a movie was announced called...
The Mario movie, or the Super Mario Bros. Movie, however they're going to call it. And it has possibly the greatest casting of all time.
I'm going to list them all out. I'm going to say the big one for last, in case you are not familiar with what's happening here.
If you're not familiar, how have you found this on the internet?
How have you found us, specifically, about nerd culture? Okay, so let's start with a good casting, I think. Also, this is all animated, voice acted, and it's not at all live action, which is interesting for this cast, because the cast feels like a live action cast.
It makes me so excited.
So, Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach. Cool.
Good actress.
I've seen her in one thing, and that was New Mutants.
I thought you'd seen Split.
No.
Oh, never mind.
And so, she was interesting in that movie.
She's a good actress. I still need to watch the Queen's Gambit.
I'm ready for Last Night in Soho with her in it, so that's pretty cool.
That's
Edgar
right.
Wright. Next up, we have Luigi Mario, played by Charlie Day. Oh, for the record, this episode was going to be about the Mario movie from the 80s or 90s.
We couldn't
find it.
It's non-existent on any platform, anywhere. We searched every digital retailer available.
We tried to buy it or rent it even online. We couldn't do it.
You can't do it. They burned it to the ground, so that your only option is just clips you can find on YouTube. That's it.
Which is pretty funny, because it's like, oh no, whatever will we do?
I'm perfectly fine with never seeing that movie.
We'll probably watch it eventually for the podcast, but it was relevant for this, and now we can't find it now, so we'll do it later at some point. So Jack Black is Bowser.
As if he doesn't get a musical number in this, then what's the point?
And no, it's not Rob McElhenney as Mario. We'll get to Mario in a minute.
No, Glenn Howerton should be Mario.
No, Danny DeVito should be Mario, Josh. We have Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
What is he gonna do with Toad? All these characters never speak anything. What are they bringing to these characters?
Toad does speak, more than most of them, actually.
He just screams.
He screams very interestingly. We have, as I mentioned in the intro of this podcast, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
It's gonna be very interesting. If Diddy Kong is gonna be in the movie, I'm very curious who they'll pick for him.
Having Donkey Kong in a Mario movie makes sense to me, because Donkey Kong was originally the antagonist to Mario. Or other way around, kind of. So that makes sense. But then we have Cranky Kong in the movie? Why? Played by Fred Armisen. If you don't know who that is, he's been on SNL a lot. He was also on Brooklyn Nine-Nine as... Malignos, yes.
He's done a crap ton of comedy stuff, if you don't know by now.
And we have Sebastian Maniscalco.
I don't
know who that is. He's Spike. Cool. And of course, the legend himself, Kevin Michael Richardson, as... Kramer
from Seinfeld? Oh no, we don't want Kramer in this movie.
Or Kamek. I don't actually know who this character is. Moses cast. Alright, that kind of makes sense-ish. But Mario? Oh, also, Charles Martinet, the voice who played Mario for many, many years on almost everything. Not everything, but almost everything. Is having numerous guest cameo voicings in this. So he's not Mario. So, Josh, reveal to the world who is voicing Mario?
So, for this film, they got the most famous and well-known Italian actor known to man. He's won multiple Oscars. He's been in multiple films by Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola. You know him. You love him.
Scarlett Johansson?
No. He is Chris Pratt.
Oh my god. Star-Lord, Andy Dwyer.
This casting has to be purely just for, star power. Because... he is really funny in, like, a lot of shit, and, like, I love him in the Lego movie. He was great in that. As a voice actor, I think he can do good, but Mario!
Also, Onward, but the thing about people complaining that Charles Martinet's in the movie, we're not playing Mario, and I'm like, you know what? I'm happy with that, because 2 hours of, it's me! Oh, no! Would be super annoying to listen to.
Yeah.
And what I pitched to Josh a few ideas for this is more of a Mario Party kind of route, or something like that. So you could easily have it be in the world when Mario's playing the game and being the character. He's all Italian and silly. Then the second he walks off, he's Chris Pratt being a guy playing a role, kind of. And that'd be fascinating to listen to.
I worry, though, because Illumination is making this movie. Number one, I think Despicable Me is their only, like, really good movie, and then the rest are fine or mediocre. And then their only live-action movie, Hop, I hate it. With a burning passion.
You mean it's an A? We don't say good or bad, Josh. It's an A.
Yes, he caught me on that. If for new listeners, we rate things yay to nay. I give Hop a nay, a very hard nay. But anyways, back to what we were talking about. I dread them going back to live action roots. I don't want that, but who knows? Maybe it'll be interesting.
I mean, it's not live action.
We don't know that.
Oh, you're right. It just says Illumination. It doesn't say it's animated, but I'm hoping it is.
Imagine Chris Pratt fatting himself up again. So
that's the only thing news-wise we're going to say. A lot's happened, though. We're going to skip past all of that and talk about two big things.
He has not prepared me before this. He told me he's not going to tell me, so I'm very curious what we're talking about.
The MCU, Josh.
It's
growing.
It really is.
A lot.
It's
expanding.
Apparently, according to one of the executive producers at Marvel, they have 31 ongoing projects.
This podcast will be about mostly the MCU Phase Four as a whole so far.
Cool.
As well as we watched both Venom 1 again, and then we went to the theater the next day and watched Venom 2.
I want to see Venom 2 again. We'll get into that.
So, first off, so far with the things we've seen, I had not finished What If yet, so I'll finish that for next week.
I have.
So, WandaVision, yay or nay?
Yay.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, yay or nay?
Yay.
Black Widow, yay or nay?
Yay.
Loki, yay or nay?
Yay.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yay.
Spider-Man No Way Home trailer.
Yay.
Eternals trailer.
Yay.
What If?
Yay.
Episodes 1 through 3 that I've seen.
Yay.
Cool. I agree. Also, just curious, Venom 2, yay or nay?
Yay.
No comment yet. We'll get to it. You have to wait to hear my thoughts. Phase 4 of the MCU has been an interesting ride. Spoilers for everything we just mentioned.
If you
Coming
haven't
soon.
seen all that stuff, then get out.
I will say, if you've not seen Shang-Chi yet, because in your territory it is not available yet or something like that, we will do that part non-spoilery first.
I think it's the same with Venom.
Right. We'll be sure we are being safe. If you can't go to theater right now, also makes sense. That's fine too. Be safe, please. We're both fully vaccinated. A lot's happened. Last time on the podcast, we did talk about Loki, so people were aware of that already. We talked about episode 1 of Loki.
Yeah, the first episode.
First episode. The ending of Loki.
Ooh.
Whoa. They are setting up
So much.
the multiverse of madness.
I'm
coming soon.
very, very excited.
What out of the things I've listed so far are you happiest with / most excited for?
Are we talking about like upcoming stuff?
So, out of the WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Loki, Shang-Chi, and the 2 trailers we got, what is the most joy it brings?
I mean, I'm very much impartial to Spider-Man, so I kind of have to say that.
Do you mean partial to Spider-Man?
I don't know words,
you
man.
You said the opposite.
Look, we're doing things. I haven't spoken in forever.
Okay.
For bringing me the most joy of things that we have yet to see, it's No Way Home very easily. That trailer is just... I watched that, 10 times when it came out? I like the first 20 minutes.
That spoils Far From Home immediately if you've not seen the movie.
Yeah. And if you didn't see the end credit scene for Far From Home, I'm kind of surprised.
WandaVision's pretty cool.
WandaVision it was a trip. I honestly missed the weekly theories that everyone would have, the hype and the anticipation for it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love how no one addressed really at all how White Vision showed up, said, I am Vision, and then just dipped. Out of the movie. Out of the show. Where's he going? We don't know yet. He hasn't shown up again yet.
That's true.
Where did he move to? He went to Phase 5. He skipped the rest of Phase 4.
I'm very curious what they're going to do with him. Because, you can't repeat Vision's story. And, yeah, what happens to him, but also at the same time, I don't want to see Vision's story again.
We'll see what happens.
Because I think Vision got a very, good ending with this show.
So we have WandaVision. Villain is kind of not really a thing until the last bit, so I'm not going to focus too much on villain.
But she's fun.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of that villain, actually, if you've not seen WandaVision yet, what are you doing here? Go watch it. It's been out for months. Agatha Harkness is getting her own Disney Plus show now.
I'm excited. I love Katherine Hahn so much, and her being in anything just instantly makes me happy.
That's pretty cool. That villain. Was that villain better or worse to you than Carly Morgenthau in
Better.
The Falcon and Winter Soldier? Interesting. I disagree with that, but I like the bops that Katherine Hahn has.
My problem with Carly is that while her motivations were understandable, to me it felt like there wasn't both a real personality for her and enough to really make me care for her or understand her. When you have villains like Killmonger that have very understandable motivations and reasonings, there's still something there to get us to like seeing them do what they do, but also know they're not doing good things. And I feel like that she didn't have that.
That's fair. I do like how she just wanted to watch the world burn a little bit too. It's like,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
But Diet Captain America.
And with that note, do you prefer John Walker or He Who Remains?
This is a weird tier list. I gotta go with He Who Remains, because that whole
while
scene,
30 minutes of him just talking.
Jonathan Majors is just the best. You still have to see Lovecraft Country, but he is fantastic. I cannot wait to see what else he brings to the MCU.
You don't know what his character's going to become. I don't ruin that awesome moment for you. So, but he will be coming back at some point. Do not worry. Or that actor will be coming back. Don't worry.
It's so good.
Loki's a great show. I
loved it.
It's really interesting. The Sylvie thing is
Wilson.
fascinating. Way to look at the different Lokis they had.
Yeah.
I also just love Old Man Loki, classic Loki.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Richard E. Grant.
Yeah. Also, Child Loki, Kid Loki.
The one that killed Thor.
Pretty messed up. Still love it.
Alligator Loki, though.
Uh-huh.
Best Loki.
Croak Loki. Love him. We want to see Loki in a pair of Crocs. It'd be great.
Of course.
Wenwu, or from the Shang-Chi, or frickin' what's his name?
I don't know.
Black Widow villain.
The Russian guy?
Yeah.
This is a very easy
the
one.
with no accent.
This is a very easy one. It's easily Wenwu.
Wenwu is great. Okay.
Not much of a debate there.
Yeah. So, Wenwu or He Who Remains?
It is a tough one. Because one gets a whole movie, one gets 30 minutes, but he makes that 30 minutes.
He hams it up.
It's great.
Again, if you don't watch Loki, go watch Loki. It does change the Marvel Cinematic Universe a lot.
I think I'm going to go with Wenwu.
Wenwu! Agreed. I just love Shang-Chi. Good movie. Go watch it if you can do it safely, or if you're able to watch it in your country or whatever. I think Australia's still in lockdown.
I have no idea.
I'm not sure about that yet. I'm not knowledgeable in the world sometimes.
I'm not knowledgeable on many things.
Something else is changing now. Forever.
What?
It's going to be tied into WandaVision, Doctor Strange 2, Loki, and more. Spider-Man, definitely. The multiverse is here, Josh.
It's here, and I like it.
We're going to get multiple Spoidies.
Possibly.
Probably. Based on that set photo, probably.
That leaked video. It's not real, it's Photoshop. Industry professionals say, yeah, no, that's real.
It's not a deepfake for sure. It's different hair, too. It's an accurate hair.
Andrew is just waiting for them to give him the all clear to say, yes, I'm in the movie. Please, now, can you take the gun away from... Stop pointing the gun at me.
And then when people ask Tom McGuire, he just winks at them. Here's the thing. Multiverse is cool and all. I love the way that they tease stuff at the end of Loki, and how that version of Loki is now trapped in a different universe of the TVA.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. I love that we get Tyson? We get Tyson? I love that we get tie-ins to things like Spider-Man soon, and also Wanda, and everyone's saying how they caused the multiverse. They caused the multiverse. No, they caused the multiverse to happen.
Everyone caused the multiverse to happen, let's be real.
I think what happened was literally, this is just a point in time and it branches off.
Okay, so I messaged Taj about this the other day. I think what happened was when Sylvie killed He Who Remains, and then that allowed the multiverse to exist. When Wanda does the dark magic, hears her kids, that's her seeing the multiverse.
Yeah.
And then I had another thing. Fuck.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, when Doctor Strange does it, that's him opening up the multiverse into our world.
Right.
So, like, it was still existing amongst everything else, but nothing was happening yet until Doctor Strange accidentally opened it up.
Basically, yeah. It's so good. I also just love Jonathan Major's outfit in Loki. Purple robes, man.
It's great.
Kind of cool. Yeah, I like these things. I'm excited for more. MCU is neat.
But what about What If?
I've not finished it.
What about what you've seen?
Okay. First episode was fine to me. Captain Carter, I'm like, this is...
It was too similar to me to the movie. Like, not enough differences.
The second one to me, I wish that most stories were smaller for me personally.
I can understand.
Like the T'Challa episode was a lot better to me than the first episode because it was more different. But again, it was like Thanos being like, I was talked out of it. It's not genocide. Oh, it's casual.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was very funny. And rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. He gave his last performance in that, so great job there. But I know each episode what each one is and what it's about roughly because I live on the internet.
You're on the internet? You live in the internet?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like that movie Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase? Yeah.
Oh, haven't seen.
What if episode 3? Really cool. I think the idea of that was fun, and it only makes sense at all if you watch the MCU, because Hank and stuff.
Well, I think that's how all of What If works, pretty much. If you don't know the MCU by now, you're going to be lost on some things.
The Thor part of that part was nonsense, because there's no real reason. You were going to recruit him anyway! You don't even know that! Like, literally, it's just a guy walking out to grab a hammer. You just murdered him, because he's big and strong. Like, it was very funny to me.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm interested in more. It doesn't really pull me a lot right now. That's why it's hard for me to watch. Like, I'm not super invested in what's happening yet. But because this is not... it is a group story, but it's also a lot more self-contained. I'm not as driven to watch it right now. I'll finish next week. For this next week, it's fine. MCU is neat, Josh.
It is.
No Way Home. You ready for it?
No.
You're not ready for it?
Mentally, I'm not prepared.
Which character do you most want to come back?
Oh, God damn it. It's because I grew up with Tobey Spider-Man. I grew up with Andrew's.
not with the Spider-Man, out of any other character besides the Spider-Man himself.
So, like, the villains?
Sure. Or a love interest, or like only Mary Jane Watson. That's it.
I don't think Mary Jane or Gwen should come back. I feel like that's just too many. Out of villains, I would just love to see Willem Dafoe again, just hamming it up and having a grand old time. I loved him in that movie, and I really hope he's back in this one.
He's dead.
That means nothing. That means nothing in comics.
I do love a while ago, Alfred Molina's like, yeah, it picks up right off where I died. Like, immediately. I'm like, oh, thanks for sharing that, Alfred Molina. From Spider-Man 2. Meaning, potentially, Tobey Maguire's coming back from between Spider-Man 2 and 3.
The man is in his 40s. He can't...
It makes no sense.
He's still supposed to be, like, in early college in that movie. Like, no.
Movies, y'all. Now, a brief talk about Shang-Chi now because it's relevant and we've seen it and it's good.
It's still popular.
If you've not seen Shang-Chi, come back to the next part. There's timestamps in the description down below.
Whoa.
So, Josh, yay or nay on the character himself of Shang-Chi?
Yay.
How about Katie?
Yay.
Zhe Ling?
Yay.
Everyone?
Yay.
Cool, I'm fine with that. So I love that in Shang-Chi they brought back Ben Kingsley himself. And it's just great because it's a great tie-in to actually acknowledge what happened before and improve upon it.
I'm just happy that now people are starting to actually say oh, I've always liked him. I'm like, you never liked him before. I've always liked him. I always liked the twist in Iron Man 3. I always thought that was a lot of fun. But obviously, a lot of people were not happy with it. I, however, was. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
Like, I remember in the theater, I literally audibly said, no. The second that was revealed. I've watched the movie many times since then, and it's like, I always... Because once you know what's happening, you can kind of roll with it and be like, okay, I know what's happening, I don't really care about that part anymore. It's just a really cool Iron Man story. You're getting a good Tony Stark story. Mm-hmm. Why he chooses to wear the worst suit he has when a terrorist is coming to attack him doesn't make sense, but it's for selling toys, Josh.
Everything's for selling toys. What are you talking about?
I love toys.
I don't play with them.
Cool. Yeah, I really like the tie-in to Jeffrey.
To Jeffrey? Is that what his character's name is now? Jeffrey? I don't know what this is about. His name was Trevor Slattery, not Jeffrey.
I was picturing Morris and called Morris Jeffrey. And I was meant to
That's
say
even more off.
So,
he's got a pig chicken with no face that's name is Morris. And apparently Sean thought his name was Jeffrey.
Look, man, I'm making a movie right now. There's a character called Jeffrey I'm trying to cast, acknowledging that all of America was cowering to an orange because they named him the Mandarin and making fun of both the racism behind that and actually making it more powerful. And they did a great job with acknowledging the previous Mandarin. And it's so well done. Wenwu is among my favorite villains in the MCU because he's in it for love. It's not like, I want ultimate power. It's like, no, I'm a conqueror. I'm done conquering. I've done a lot of it.
Why did he stop conquering? He didn't even conquer America.
He stopped conquering when he found love.
Oh.
Remember?
America existed when he found love.
He wasn't there yet. Asia's big.
Yeah, I'm aware it is.
And then, yeah, once his wife went bye-bye, he decided to, no, these rings are mine again. Live forever, bitch. That's how it went, right?
Yes.
I'm not wrong.
No.
And it's really cool. I really, really enjoy what they do with the character. I really love how Shang-Chi, as a character, wasn't like a Phase 1 style origin movie again. It was different enough to feel like it's new. And I appreciate that. Because it easily could have just been the same, here's how I got my powers, here's how I learned how to train, here's what I did next. It's told in a non-linear way. You get a lot of flashbacks, you get a lot of good storytelling techniques, a lot of references to Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies and stuff, and that was really cool. The whole jacket fight on the bus.
Okay, so the fights in this movie are incredible. Both in martial arts terms and big special effects terms, they are so much fun. It's especially when it's 2v2, that kind of fighting. It's fantastic. It's great. If you've seen it, any Jackie Chan movies or anything like that, you'll fall in love with this very easily.
We both had different thoughts on the ending on the CGI Marvel battle.
The third act falls a lot into the standard what you kind of expect from the third act's in a lot of Marvel movies, just big monsters fighting, like things like that. For me personally, it was the weakest part of the movie because I didn't really care about the village or the people or like big.
Josh wanted a village to burn.
I didn't want it to burn.
All of them should die.
No. So, like the soul-sucking dragon monsters, it's just like, oh, this is a thing now. Oh, I was kind of invested in the personal story between father and son. Okay, I guess we'll watch this, I guess. And there's a line that says, "We lost a lot of good people today." I'm like, did we? Because I didn't know anyone.
That part's fair. It was very much set up in the beginning that there was something happening that you needed to fight. I thought it would have been a little weaker if they didn't have the something break out of the wall, because it's like you tease something for so long in the movie. I want to see what actually is behind there. I also really enjoyed the visual effects, cool fighting scenes with the rings and stuff, because you do deal with such mystical things in this movie as well.
Yeah,
I wanted to see some of the magical things.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Also, the rings, despite the change, are really cool weapons.
They're so cool. I want them.
I just want to wear them. Like, I just want to have roll up my sleeves, be like, yeah, I got these cool rings now, just for fun. Anyway, anything else Phase 4 you want to talk about, Josh?
The Hawkeye trailer.
Oh yeah, Christmas time!
It's so full. It's so drenched in Christmas. I love it.
Oh, so yeah, you're nailing the trailer, Josh.
Yay. Hard cool. Yay. I've seen it so many times.
It's a good trailer. It makes me care about Hawkeye more in the MCU.
I'm very excited. Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop is going to be great. She's a great actress. Love her.
I like seeing Lucky the Pizza Dog.
Oh yeah. Hawkeye's probably a bit deaf in his ear.
I love they're actually giving him personality now.
Yeah.
It looks nice. Or I'm assuming they're going to have a personality now. That's my assumption.
Okay, well, in Avengers 1, he was hypnotized for most of the movie, and then until the end. Then in 2, they gave him more of a personality, and then we didn't see him again until Civil War, which you didn't really need much for it. Then Endgame, and now here.
Well, for Avengers 1, they did that as an homage to, in the comics, the villain first. And let them be able to play off the both sides of that. And that was fascinating, but it really detracted from his character.
Correct.
Okay, so Venom 2, Josh.
So what a time.
If you've not seen Venom 2, we're going to spoil the end credit scene in this movie very fast.
Yeah.
Cool. You skipping the next timestamp to go to the super story?
You've been warned.
Cool. So the mid credit scene, Josh. He's going into Phase 4 of the MCU now.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I was saying to Josh that in the movie, like, I would have been interesting if this version of Venom was part of Andrew's universe. If Andrew was, because he's in San Francisco, if Andrew just happened to exist on the opposite coast, that would have been fine. Because he's at the end of the movie, he's leaving, trying to go somewhere else. He got to New York City and then seen web slinging with Andrew. And then you could have had a tie into the MCU there. But instead, we had him teleport dimensions, kind of suddenly and very jarringly. Also, Venom says to Eddie, "I love you," kind of casually.
It's very much a romance film.
It's very funny. The movie's missing a few scenes, kind of. Like, it just jumps to the end.
It's a blast. It's only an hour and a half. It's so much fun. Andy Serkis clearly had the time of his life directing this movie. It's so much fun. It's great.
I'm going to give this movie a nay for one reason, Josh. Ready for it?
No.
Because Carnage's reason. Because everyone else there are 3 people they're trying to kill in this movie.
Yes.
There's in this movie, we have the character Shriek, the character Carnage / Cletus Cassidy, and we'll get both of them. Yeah. So Cletus Cassidy wants to kill Eddie Brock. Technically speaking, because he published a thing that he asked him to publish.
Sort of.
I know it was because he put on death row.
Could there have been a better reasoning for him to want to kill him? Yes.
It's like,
do I also care? No.
I want you to be my friend. I guess okay, boomer, calm down. And then we have Carnage like, I want to kill Venom because Venom will be unstoppable. Also, you're my dad. It's like, oh, okay. And then it gets resolved by just eating him. And then Shriek's like, I'll kill this random cop.
This is very much a turn your brain off movie and enjoy the ride.
Also, why was Mulligan at the end teased to be Toxin when nothing happened to him? His eyes turned blue for no reason.
I don't know.
Do we both miss something in the movie, Josh?
No.
Okay, because in the movie, spoilers again, I spoiled the mid-credit scene right away. Venom, there's a guy named Mulligan in the movie who's supposed to be Toxin in the comics, which is another symbiote person, and at the end of the movie, with no prompting, his eyes just glow.
Yes. We're led to believe that he probably died from Shriek. He didn't die. Something happens that we don't see, and his eyes turn blue. As far as I'm aware, Toxin is not blue.
Also, it's pretty funny to me is that Shriek, she got shot in the eye, and all it did to her, a slight scar and a contact lens.
Well, it was probably like angled.
It's just pretty. It was like, I thought I killed her. You would have known if you killed her.
The car was stopped.
You would check. The body would stop moving.
Again, this is what we're talking about when you're supposed to turn your brain off. Because if you start thinking about this movie, none of it makes any sense.
Yeah, Venom. So his lover, his buddy Eddie, was down in the dumps. So Venom threw brunch together for him, throwing the entire apartment in a mess to make him brunch. And then they had many lover spats the entire movie.
It's beautiful.
Venom laughed to go to a rave and said gay rights, and said pro-immigration, aliens are people too, treat them with respect, while wearing glow stick necklaces. This movie's a wild ride. If you want to see Woody Harrelson ham it up for 2 hours, though,
it's beautiful.
It's quite interesting.
You will have a great time. If you're expecting anything comic accurate, what are you doing here? This is the Venom movies. You don't expect comic accuracy here.
But yeah, I gave it an A because the fact that they wanted to kill them for very little good reasons. Shriek's makes more sense.
Yes.
The other two is like, I need a reason for them to fight. Writers, give me something. No, just make it up on the spot.
I had a blast.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes was when Venom was trying to get him to remember like what was in the cave walls, and he started drawing, and he was like, I know this one, it's a tree. It's so funny.
Tom Hardy was also not sweaty, hard an A.
Ah, damn it, you're right. Damn it!
In the first movie, we also make fun of how sweaty Tom Hardy is for the entire movie.
It's great.
That sweatshirt, it gets drenched in sweat. So, he's in the MCU now, Josh. How do you deal with that? You just threw your wallet.
Yes, that's my signal that I don't like it.
Okay, that's a good signal to know now.
The tone and style of this version of Venom, I don't think can work with this. And if you're trying to build him up to be a villain, it doesn't make any sense at all. If
they have Venom and No Way Home as part of the Sinister Six now,
oh dear God,
which is very likely at this point now,
wouldn't Eddie try to kill the villains though? Because he's a lethal protector.
It could end up being a team up for that film now.
God damn it.
Venom could be now teaming up with Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Please don't say those words to me.
What also might happen is Venom, for some reason, just leaves to go do... Because he's like, him! To Tom Holland Spider-Man on the TV.
Yeah.
It's like, he could just leave to be like, he's a better suit for me. So he goes to attach to him and get a black suit Spider-Man temporarily.
But the problem is, like, we discussed this earlier,
right?
That
it doesn't make sense. In
the comics, Spider-Man doesn't know that the symbiote is alive and that it has like a whole personality and everything, and that doesn't happen until after he takes the suit off and it comes to Eddie. That's when the real personality of Venom comes through. So doing the reverse of that makes no sense.
Yeah, it also makes less sense because he wouldn't really have a black suit then, you'd think. It would just become him.
Yeah.
So the way they set up symbiotes in the Venom verse is very weird.
Yeah, it like just morphs inside of you.
It works for the first film, like the way it makes sense a lot for their universe, I guess. It's a random weird goo monster that likes to make weird turd jokes and say the word pussy. More than once. Also, Anne had no point in this movie at all, and neither did Dan.
Look, again, this is what happens when you start to think about this movie. Stop thinking about it and just enjoy it.
Alright. This is our podcast, pretty much. We talk about a little bit of the MCU coming back. It's more like, it's blah, 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 blah. This episode's more like a, hey guys, we're back. And the MCU's been happening. We have been keeping up with it. We have been watching it. We're back at school now. We've been back at school for a hot minute. It's like week 7 now, so that's a thing. So the reason we haven't been making podcasts right now is because we're actually both in pre-production for films.
Yeah.
Josh, what is the name of your film you're making right now?
Tickets, please.
And what is your film about?
A documentary filmmaker seeks out to make his new documentary about minimum wage workers, and he sets his sight on a movie theater. Little does he know, no one comes to the theater at all. So in order to make the dramatic film that he wants, he has to make the workers' lives a living hell. This is a mockumentary in the style of The Office. Fun times, stupid times. It's going to be a great ride.
And on the other side of things, Josh has a fun, dumb comedy. I'm making a sad drama.
Yeah.
It's not all sad. It's just interesting, I think. I have a film called Co-op, which is about, in the year 2038, a company called Sahara creates a device that allows people to have cooperative dreaming. Where you can, and you know how to dream, you can feel things, you can touch things, taste things, smell, hear, all that stuff. And it follows a man who's finally able to reconnect with his wife who's been in a coma for 3 years. So, things ensue.
Things do ensue.
Those films will eventually be released online as well. Yay!
Yay!
Josh,
Hi.
how do you feel right now?
A little bit tired.
Fair enough. So now we normally transition into the super weird stories, which is actually going to be a past recording of one about a character named Mike Murdock.
I remember that. That was weird.
And now you all can listen to that. And yay!
That was nice.
Now on to Michael Murdock. Yes, you heard that right. Not Matt Murdock. Michael Murdock. Now,
Was he his neglected brother that wanted revenge on him?
you're not too far off.
Oh no.
But see, Matt Murdock's an idiot. I love Matt Murdock.
Great lawyer, but he's an idiot.
Okay, so he was concerned people would find out that he was Daredevil. Because he's like one of the only redheads in Marvel. Let's be real. He's also a blind man. And Daredevil's blind. And with all the court cases he does for superheroes and stuff like that, he was afraid people would find out who he was. Okay? Like, that logic makes sense enough, right?
Yeah.
So, early in his superhero career, Matt Murdock sporadically assumed the identity of a fictional twin brother to help him conceal his identity. He put on different clothes, styled his hair a little bit differently, and called himself Mike. That was what.
This sounds like too much work for him to do.
Oh, it's not even. You just you wait. Mike Murdock kept saying publicly, "I am Daredevil," constantly. Went on record of being, "I am Mike Murdock and I am Daredevil."
Why did they not let Charlie Cox do this in the Daredevil show?
So Matt pretended that his twin brother named Mike Murdock was Daredevil's secret identity. Matt eventually got rid of Mike Murdock by setting up his death. And saying that a new Daredevil had been trained.
So convoluted.
Oh, again, just you wait. So over the years, Matt would sometimes still use the identity of Mike Murdock to go undercover. That's like when that's like in Shock when he's Charles Carmichael. It's a dumb name to use.
Charles Carmichael.
And then Mike became real. Yes, Mike became a real human being.
Oh my.
Look, there are characters called the Inhumans, Josh.
Yes, I'm aware of them.
Not like the TV show.
The very popular TV show.
No. Better versions of the characters. So there's an Inhuman named Reader. Have you heard of them before?
No.
They dress a little bit like Homelander, kind of ish. The color scheme and stuff, a little weird.
Uh-huh.
He's got blonde hair. He has these like purple like visor goggles. He has a stick. He's got like this red and blue uniform and stuff. His powers has the ability to make anything he reads manifest into reality. If he reads the word fire, a fire will start in his vicinity.
not next to him or on him, just in his vicinity.
Which is also kind of terrifying. Imagine just reading a book.
It's just a spontaneous fire.
Like, imagine reading Lord of the Rings and it all becomes real. That'd be awful.
That'd be awesome but terrifying.
Imagine reading the Marvel comics.
Does he have to read it out loud, or is he if he just reads it?
So, his people put out his eyes to stop him from using his abilities. Reader is still able to trigger his powers by reading in Braille with his fingers.
Cut off his hands.
Since the meaning of language is entirely constructed, he is capable of manifesting any nuanced effect that he wants as long as he understands a word to mean so.
Jeez.
So, on that note, after Daredevil enlisted the help of the Inhuman named Reader to form a group to take down Mayor Wilson Fisk, Reader accidentally used his ability to physically manifest anything he read while researching on Mike Murdock. Not Matt, Mike. Making Mike a real person.
Oh no.
Which resulted in the manifestation of a real person who genuinely believes himself to be Matt Murdock's twin brother.
Jeez.
And possessed both the abilities and brash personality he was supposed to have.
God, that'd be so annoying.
So he basically created a new Daredevil. Reader called this kind of creation a fragment and not a fully real person. As Daredevil, Matt stumbled into Mike in the bar with no name, because there's a place called that.
Yeah.
And knocked him down to investigate what was going on, because he's very confused by this. Because Reader didn't know what happened at first either, I don't think.
So wait, this is kind of important. Is Mike also blind?
I actually don't remember this part of he is or not.
Because if he's still blind, like at that point, it kind of defeats the purpose. Because it's just like the chances of both of you being blind, like, are so slim.
When Reader figured out Mike Murdock's existence was his fault, he tried to use his powers to unwrite him, aka kill him. Matt Murdock actually kind of asked him to do it at first.
Look, man, can you kill my brother for me? I know that he's me, but can you please kill him?
It was like erase a mistake. That was complicated. Yeah. Idea. Mike escaped, taking Reader's dog Forey hostage.
What year did this come out?
His first appearance was in 2018.
Oh, so this was recent.
I think that's right.
This sounds like something from the 70s.
Comics are complicated, so bear with me. I remember reading about him beforehand, but I don't remember exact dates of when I read things with him.
Yeah.
Moving on. So Mike managed to continue evading Daredevil, and took Foggy Nelson hostage to arrange a meeting with Matt. So first he took a dog hostage of the Reader. Then he takes Foggy Nelson hostage.
It's taking a bit for his brain to develop.
When they met up in Highline Park, Matt started to doubt his decision to erase Mike. Fair. It's a person now. Valuing his now brother's existence, even though it was an accident. When Reader arrived to erase Mike, Matt stopped him and let Mike go. Desperate for help, Mike then sought out Mayor Fisk. Bad idea in general.
He's supposed to be Daredevil. Shouldn't he also know that Fisk is not a good guy?
Yeah, but it's more he fully believes himself to be Matt's brother. He doesn't have the full memories of everything yet.
Yeah.
And so he sought out Mayor Fisk and offered to do any kind of job at all, any job, in exchange for protection. I would not have made that deal.
That's rookie mistake number one. Don't tell Fisk you're going to do anything for them. That's a bad thing.
Fisk, of course, accepted Mike's proposition and later sent the Hood to recruit him. Do you know who the Hood is at all?
That sounds familiar,
It's
no.
Parker Robbins, a person to recruit him, okay?
Gotcha.
And then One More Day happened. You know One More Day, right?
The Spider-Man story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, of course, relates to everyone else around the area, too, so... After doing a successful heist with the Hood, Mike stole the Norn Stones from the Hood's vault and hired Black Cat to steal an English translation of an Asgardian spell in order to become a full human being. So, basically, you try to use magic to become fully human, okay? Instead of just fragment. Which, it makes sense, I understand. The ritual worked and rewrote history, with Mike becoming Matt's actual twin brother. That's pretty wild to me. So this man started out as a fictional identity of someone, then a human, made him kind of half real, and then he became fully real and rewrote history. So in his new rewritten past, Jack Murdock raised his sons alone after their mother Maggie left due to her mental health issues. While growing up, Mike would defend his brother from bullies who mocked him. Despite Jack not approving of this, Mike would also form a friendship with his neighbor Butch. Jack urged his sons to study hard. Oh, wasn't Butch also in the Daredevil series?
Maybe?
I think he was one of the mob boss kind of people.
Yeah, I'll say maybe.
Anyway, Butch was a reference in the bar, I think, that Foggy went to, I thought. Anyway, so basically, Mac get involved in the accident, made him blind. Mike felt guilty of the accident and stayed with Matt at the hospital while he recovered. One night he saw a nun praying for Matt, and Mike figured out she was their thought deceased mother. So, a whole new family dynamic was created from One More Day. Not surprising. It's a very weird story. We'll eventually get into One More Day in terms of Spider-Man later on, but...
oh boy.
Mike began descending into criminal life, at first scamming people with his partner Butch, eventually being kidnapped by a group of gangsters, leaving his father to help him escape. After realizing that Mike wouldn't really make something of himself like he originally hoped for, Jack decided to train Mike in combat. However, Mike became angry at him for lying about his dirty fights and about his mother, and told him that he wasn't like his brother Matt. After Jack made a deal with the Fixer, Mike, feeling confident that his father would win, met with the Fixer and Owl. Owl isn't Daredevil, though, the TV show, and bet a huge amount of money on his father. After he and his brother Matt saw their father won the fight, Jack was murdered since he was supposed to lose. This left Mike to feel guilty again for potentially having a role in his father's death. So Mike, in this world, is kind of helping messing up everyone's life and putting them in the correct position. Kind of weird. Years went on, and after Daredevil turned himself in for murder, met with his brother since he was now hunted by the Hood for stealing from him. The conversation soon went sour, and the superhero left. He then met up with his friend Butch, and the two celebrated in honor of their father, Jack Murdock and Wilson Fisk. That's pretty much the story of Mike Murdock.
Jeez.
So, what the fuck kind of moment, right? All this?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of Mike beforehand?
I want to say that I have sounded familiar, but like all of that, no.
Yeah, so this started by Matt's like, I'm not Daredevil. This guy's Daredevil. And then it became, this is a real person whose help was responsible for the accident and his father's death. Kind of crazy.
To me, the whole time I was just thinking, like, it'd be really funny if Mike, like, never lost his sight, and then Matt inadvertently created a version of himself that could see, and just, like, him thinking, like, damn, I gotta figure out how I can see.
Honestly, the reader should just read a passage that goes, Matt Murdock can now see, and then just do that.
Yeah.
He could solve all the problems, the reader.
Just, like, literally, just, like, Matt just, like, writes it on a sheet of paper, but it obviously
Braille.
doesn't look like, yeah, in Braille.
I love that his family cut out his eyes. That's pretty funny. Anyway. And we're back! How was that great super weird story, Josh?
Oh, it was super weird, and it certainly was a story.
Oh, yeah! Wild! What to expect for next week, you think, Josh? What do you think we're going to do?
Crazy shenanigans.
We will shenanigan. Where can people find you, Josh?
You can find me on everything except TikTok, just to annoy Sean. I'm on Instagram.
I want to send you things easier.
Too bad. I'm on Instagram at J_Rudy16, Twitter J_Rudy28, YouTube at Josh Rudolph. And yeah, it's fun times.
Oh, it's me. I'm on the Twitter. That's it. I'm on Twitter at the Theater Nerd. I run the NerdTalk Productions social media, so the place that it is hosted on YouTube. That's NerdTalk Productions. On Twitter, we are NerdTalk_prod. Please tweet us. We want to answer your questions. We want to talk to you all and interact with all of you. Type hashtag GeekSpeakPod or email us at nerdtalkproductionsyt@gmail.com. I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'm excited for the future of this podcast again. We're getting back to it. And next week, we'll actually have news again. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Have a nice night.